We spend our entire lives building an identity. It is a fortress, constructed brick by brick with our names, our jobs, our relationships, our memories. We furnish it with our successes and our failures, and we hide within its walls, believing that this construction is who we are. But what happens when you walk away from the fortress? What remains when the walls crumble? There is a place that asks this question without words. A place where the air is thin and the silence is absolute. A place that acts as a mirror to the soul. The high, lonely mountains. They do not offer answers. They simply strip away everything that is not you and show you what is left. This is the story of the great unnaming. It is a journey to a range of mountains so stark and so remote they are known in old maps as the spine of stillness. To climb them is not a conquest of nature, but a surrender of the self. The journey begins where the roads end, where society's hum fades into the whisper of the wind. Here, at the mountain's base, you shed your first layer, your roles. The mountain does not care if you are a king or a pauper, a scholar or a warrior. These titles are currency for a world you have left behind. Here, you are simply a traveler, a small, warm body in a vast, indifferent landscape. As you ascend, you pass the tree line, the last outpost of the familiar world. The gentle greens give way to the harsh grays and browns of bare rock and scree. Here, you shed your second layer, your comforts. The trail becomes steep, the air cooler. The sun feels both closer and less warm. The path is no longer a path, but a question asked of your body with every step. The sounds of the world are gone now. There is only the crunch of your boots on gravel, the ragged rhythm of your own breathing, and the low, eternal moan of the wind. It is a lonely sound, but it is not empty. It is the sound of the world stripped bare. The higher you climb, the more is taken. The physical self begins to scream for attention. Your lungs burn for an oxygen that is no longer abundant. Your muscles ache with a fire that purifies. This is where you shed the third layer, the illusion of control. You are not in charge here. The mountain dictates the pace. The weather is the ultimate authority. You are reduced to your most essential functions, to breathe, to move, to endure. Your mind, once a chattering marketplace of anxieties and plans, begins to quiet down. It has to. The sheer effort of survival commands all of your attention. Your grand philosophies and your petty worries are revealed to be an impossible luxury. They are too heavy to carry to the summit. And so, you arrive at the final stage of the unnaming. The air is razor thin. The world below is a distant memory, a sea of clouds obscuring everything you once knew. Here, in the hypnotic rhythm of step, breathe, you shed the final and heaviest layer. Your story. The narrative of your life, your past traumas, your future hopes, your name itself, it all dissolves into the vast, silent emptiness. You are no longer a person with a history. You are simply a presence, a point of awareness moving through a silent, majestic world. You are a pair of lungs, a pair of legs, a beating heart. And in this radical simplicity, a profound mystery begins to unfold. I reached the summit at twilight. The sun was a smear of dying fire on the horizon. I stood on that lonely peak, utterly exhausted, utterly stripped bare, and looked out upon a world that was no longer mine. It was in that moment of absolute solitude, with nothing left to define me, that the mountain finally gave its answer. It was not a voice. It was not a vision. It was a silent, gut-wrenching, glorious revelation. The realization of what remains when everything else is taken away. And what remains is you. Not the you of your name, or your job, or your memories, but the silent, resilient, conscious presence that has been quietly witnessing your entire life. I realized I was not the character in my story. I was the space in which the story was being told. The mountain had not shown me a new identity. It had revealed the one that was always there, buried beneath the fortress I had spent a lifetime building. Descending the mountain is a strange experience. You are re-entering a world of names and labels, but they feel like ill-fitting clothes. The journey back to the fortress is not a retreat, but a return with a secret knowledge. The solitude of the mountain was not an escape from the world, but a pilgrimage to its very center, the quiet, observing center of yourself. The problems of life do not disappear, but they are held in a new, vaster perspective. The great unnaming is a reminder that our true nature is not something we build, but something we uncover. And sometimes, we must walk away from everything we think we are, to finally remember who we have always been.